The Sargent family has called Iowa home since the 1850s, when they left Vermont to homestead in Jefferson County. The Sargents moved to the east side of Des Moines in 1888 and grew a prominent animal feed business selling across the Midwest. Warren Sargent was the family's recent patriarch. His connection to Ames began in 1935 when he enrolled at Iowa State College. While studying to become an engineer, he competed on the Iowa State track and field team, earning a Big Six 1938 indoor pole vaulting title. His school record would stand for years, and the pole vault pit at Iowa State is named in his honor. The family track and field tradition continued, with children and grandchildren competing in Ames High track and field and cross country over the years, including at the Drake Relays and State Track. While at Iowa State, Warren met and married his wife, Margaret. Margaret grew up in Ames, the daughter of a prominent Iowa State professor, Barton Morgan. Shortly after college, the newlyweds' lives, along with so many others, were interrupted as World War II broke out in Europe and the Pacific. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, Warren enlisted in the United States Army, and Margaret was left home in Ames, pregnant with their first child, as he went off to war. He was stationed in New Guinea from 1942 through 1945, constructing airstrips to support U.S. efforts in the Pacific. Warren did not see his daughter Anne until she was 3 years old when he returned home. In 1958, Warren partnered with George Todd, owner of an established local construction company, to create Todd and Sargent. The business served the engineering and construction needs of a growing agricultural industry throughout the Midwest. While George Todd retired a few years later, the Sargent family has kept the company running in the decades since, proudly calling Ames home. Warren's sons, Lee and Phil, both Iowa State graduates, took over management of the company in 1983. Phil's son John took over as president in 2017. The industry-leading company continues under its third generation of Sargent family leadership, with roughly 300 employees performing work across the United States and Canada. While Lee and Phil were taking over Todd and Sargent, their brother, Dan, also an Iowa State graduate, started his own business in 1982. Ortho 2, based in Ames with over 80 employees, serves the software needs of orthodontists around the world. Dan's daughter, Amy Sargent Schmidt, also an Iowa State graduate, now serves as president of the company. Amy's children represent the 7th generation of the Sargent family in Iowa and the 5th generation in Ames. Volunteering and philanthropy have also been a part of the Sargent family legacy through the generations. The family has supported and served in leadership roles for many Ames organizations and initiatives, including YSS, United Way, Ames Public Library Friends Foundation, Mary Greeley Medical Center Foundation, PEO, Ames Miracle Playground and Field, the Leadership Ames Cyclone City Project, and many other philanthropic organizations and efforts. We are pleased to present the Ames History Maker Award to the Sargent family. With 5 generations calling Ames home, 2 family businesses, and wide-reaching community involvement, the Sargent family has quietly been a meaningful part of the story of our city and will continue to help write that story for years to come.